Hey, what's going on, Midlothian? Welcome back to the Cement City Chatter podcast. To my right, as always, live from the Opolka Palace, Mr. John Opolka. How you doing?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Pretty good. To my left, as always, Tiffany.
I love it how I'm just like one
name. One
like
name
Madonna.
and one name only. We want to welcome everybody today. We are continuing on with campaign season. Last week, you guys... we had Alan Moorman in the building tonight. We have Mr. Wayne Sibley, who is currently the incumbent sitting city councilman for Midlothian City Council Place 1.
How long have you been incumbent? How many terms have you had?
About 15 years.
15. Oh, that's a lot. Oh, what is that? Divide by 3. It's
five
five terms. We're going for number 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I started in 06.
Nice. You've seen a lot.
And in 10, I got beat
Okay.
by 5 votes. And in 11, I came back in another position.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And I've been there ever since.
Well,
Okay,
let's go
so-
back to the beginning. Let's go back before city council, because a lot of our viewers,
The Wayback Machine.
as long as you've been in town, obviously we've seen a lot of growth in our town over the last decade, 2 decades even, wouldn't you say? So
Yeah.
there's probably a lot of people that listen to our show that that do know you, and then quite a few that are new to town that probably don't. You've been in Midlothian for a long time. Let's talk about how you ended up here.
Okay, I was born in Midlothian, about 2 miles down the street from where I live right now. We moved around when I was a kid in Ellis County, and I went to school 3 years in Waxahachie, then Rigger Springs a year, and Sardis 1 semester. And we moved back this side of Waxahachie, and I started in Midlothian, and I've been there ever since.
Now, so I heard a story about how you came to live in the city of Midlothian. Because you lived in the county for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Until, what, the 90s? Or the early aughts?
The early odds.
The early aughts. So the story I heard was that you voluntarily annexed yourself after a road got put through your property. Is that so that you could run
No.
for city council?
No.
Maybe that's just a big story that like makes you sound bigger than you are.
Well, I was annexed, I think, before they built the street.
Okay.
I
It could get fuzzy.
I'd have to look that up. I don't know. But I was annexed, and I during the annex process, they were explaining to us why we were being annexed. And I was telling the city manager and planner at conference center, I said, you really don't want to annex me? And they said, well, why? I said, because you annex me, I'm going to run for city council, and I'll be your boss.
This is what I'm talking about. This is the story.
They didn't heed your warning.
They laughed, and I laughed, and they did, and I did, and I am.
You made good on that promise,
Yeah.
right?
No.
Well,
But I got beat out one time because we annexed some other people that they had over 800 voters, and their vow was to eliminate the council.
Oh, those that had annexed
Yeah,
them.
and de-annex themselves, which you couldn't do anyway.
Yeah.
But they did beat me out.
yeah.
So I spent one term. I wasn't on the council. I went to planning and zoning for a year.
Oh, that's a good place to be. You
So
can
I
affect
was
a lot
on.
of change there.
I've been ever since I've been on the council. Well, and planning and zoning. I've been working for the city for a bunch of years now. I was born here. I grew up here. When Daddy bought a farm next to the place where where I was born, and that's where I was raised. It was on Mount Zion Road also. Well, at the time it wasn't Mount Zion Road. It was Route 3 Midlothian.
No.
And the address changed a few times, Route 3 and in numbers. Mine was it started just Route 3, then it went to Route 3 202. And then it went to 1691. So that's over a 45-year period.
Right. That's a long time. I turned 44 this year, so I can't even imagine. So, but you've been here so long, and you've seen so much growth. You know, there's a lot of talk amongst our city about the growth that we're experiencing now, the growth that could possibly come in the future. You know, being a longtime Midlothian resident first and foremost, and you know, being a part of the city council as long as you have been, where do you fall on all this growth? How do you feel about it? I mean, and how to manage it?
Well, I'm like most people said, I don't want to see it grow because I want to keep it a small town. But that's not going to happen. Whether we like it or not, it's going to grow. So my concern is that we make the growth quality, not quantity. And I think the council has been pretty good about keeping to that, and I want to keep it that way. I could tell you stories that I've heard about some of the things that's going on in Midlothian. I say this going on, that's just, well, I'm going to tell you one. I met a lady came out to buy some firewood. She lives over on Plainview, and we were talking, asking about her being here. And she was raised in Houston. She got married to a guy in Alabama, and they'd been living in Alabama for about 15 years, I think she said. And they wanted to come back to Texas, so they drove back down. And they went all around Houston trying to find a place that they wanted. And they didn't find anything they liked. And they said, well, let's go up to the Dallas area and see if it's something up there. On the way up, they stopped by Midlothian and got gas. And they were talking to people at the gas station that were just there getting gas too. And they got to talking about Midlothian. And said, well, you know, let's look around here and see what they got. And they drove around, and they said, this looks pretty good. And they went back to Alabama thinking, you know, Midlothian is a place to think about. And they were having dinner with some of their friends up there. And this wife had been around different places. And when they told her that they was thinking about going back to Texas, she says, well, if you're going to go to Texas, you need to go to Midlothian. And she said, what? She said, you need to go to Midlothian. And they had already kind of decided that's what they wanted to do, but this just sealed the cake. Now they live out here on Plainview. They're building a house now.
Oh,
Nice.
So that just come by, and all of a sudden they like Midlothian. And just talking to the people, that's what they like.
yeah.
Well, and that's what I find interesting. So many people here don't want any growth, but they talk about how great it is. How are we supposed to keep a lid on how great our town is and not expect somebody to want to be here?
Yeah, we can't. And one thing that I would like to see us do is become a city, a destination city.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I lived in well, I got to back up here some. After I got out of high school, I joined the Marine Reserve and I got married, all in the same time frame. We moved to Arlington to start college. And I spent 20 years in Arlington and I'll talk about a lot of things I did, but, and when I moved up there, Arlington population was 15,000, if you can realize. And so there was nothing there. And I watched Arlington grow. Some of it was good and some of it was bad.
Yep.
And when I got on the council, I said, I'm gonna erase all the bad stuff.
Right.
And we'll just work at the good stuff. And that's what I've been striving to do. And my oldest son had graduated from high school, and we wanted to move back to Midlothian. And so we did. We bought some land. It wasn't for sale. We were just driving around looking, and my wife says, I like that land right there. And I said, I do too. I played on that when I was a kid. And she said, you think we could buy it? I said, it's not for sale, but we'll find out. Well, I went and talked to the lady that owned it. She'd known me since I was this high.
Right, yeah.
So and she sold me about 13 acres.
Man.
And that was out in the country at that time, but now it's, of course, in town.
Right.
But that's where that is. I mean, I could talk all the day about that. But I had 3 kids. 2 of them graduated from Midlothian High School. And I've got 6 grandkids that graduated from Midlothian High School.
I love the I became a grandfather myself 2 years ago. Believe it or not, I'm a grandfather. I've got a 2-year-old granddaughter and a 1-year-old granddaughter.
Well, that's good. That's good.
And they're precious. Grandchildren are different.
I don't want to know anything about that anytime
I like
soon.
my grandchildren
Hey, I've
But
got
not your
a lot
children.
better than my sons.
I got 7 great grandchildren.
Yeah, oh goodness,
So,
man, Lord willing, one day maybe.
yeah.
But so as long as you've been on the council, like you said, the last 15 years, has it been pretty easy going working with some people at times? I mean,
At times.
yeah, I guess
job there. I
just
see that.
like any job, it's got its moments and whatnot. But
Yeah.
for the most part, right now on the city council, do you find it pretty easy to work with others to accomplish the goals that need to happen? And
Somewhat.
yeah,
It's been better. It's been better. I'll
Yeah.
say that.
So what's one of your like hardest decisions what's your favorite decision, your best decision you've had to make as a councilman? Like what if somebody was making a Wayne's top 10, what would be the number one?
Well, one thing I think is Walmart. When we didn't go out looking for Walmart. Walmart came here and said we want to put a store in here, and we said we won't even talk to you for anything but the A store, number one top line store. That's all we'll consider.
yeah, quality.
And we had 21 items for them to meet for us to let them do it. We got 20 of them pretty quick. That last one came in the night that they came to the council for approval. And they wanted 16,000 square feet of outside sales. We told them we would give them 6. And that 6 had to be inside a chain link fence.
Okay, I follow you for lawn and garden and
No trash out there. We want it taken looking nice. And that the post in that fence had to go into concrete. They couldn't be in 5-gallon buckets. And the head guy said, I can solve that problem for us both right now. He said, let's just eliminate that paragraph and put there will be 0 outside sales.
Yeah.
We approved it. And they got 0 outside sales.
yeah, you're right.
They got outside sales, but they got walls around it.
Correct, they do.
So
Yeah.
that's I was proud that they do that.
Yeah, and you're right. It is one of the nicest Walmarts around.
we used to drive to the Midlothian Walmart because it was so nice.
And there was one thing that got me not long after it opened. I was in there shopping something. The wife called me and said, you need to come out here. Got a couple locked their keys up in their car. They need some help. And I thought I had a Slim Jim in my car, but I didn't. But I went down to Love's and borrowed one, came back and unlocked his car for him. It was an elderly couple. And I said, where y'all from? Hamilton. I said, Hamilton? That's kind of far out west, isn't it? Well, yeah, it's pretty far. I said, well, you got relatives in Midlothian? He said, no. He said, we come to Midlothian shopping at Walmart.
Wow.
He says, we make a list once a month, and we come to Midlothian, and we shop, and we buy everything we need at Walmart. I said, man, you pass a lot of Walmart between here and Hamilton.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, but this is the only one that has everything we need. And so I felt really good about that because people were talking, we don't need a Walmart. You can go 10 miles in any direction to a Walmart, so we don't need one. Well, Walmart said they could build us one here and do us good.
They've built a real nice one, and it has stood the test of time. I will say, Walmarts go downhill pretty quick. This one's not terrible.
And I talked to the manager over at Brookshire's about it. I said, what will Walmart do to you if we put it in here? He said, oh, it'll slow our business down for a few days, maybe a week. Then we'll get back to normal again.
Yeah.
Said it won't be no major impact at all.
Well, this town can definitely, support multiple grocery stores. I mean,
Absolutely.
Obviously, any Sunday you go to grocery store, every one of them is packed.
Think about. So I got involved with city council with the Kroger thing, and think about what COVID would have been like for Midlothian if we didn't have Kroger, Walmart, and Brookshire's to support this entire city. Mm-hmm. It would have we would have had complete chaos.
No, you're right. As bad as it was, to begin with, it really would have been something. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I eat my words on that all the time because I mean nobody knew COVID was coming, but Kroger, I was against Kroger. My husband had a senior meeting at one of the houses that got torn down there, but yeah, no, you passed Kroger too, to bring them in.
Yeah,
So-
I couldn't believe how that went when the guy come in and meets all the homeowners at one time. Said, I'm gonna make you a one-time offer, a deal. Here's what I want to do to start with. So here's what I'm willing to do. I'm gonna pay you 150% of the appraised value of your home. And I'll tear it down.
Did you have anybody that
2 people didn't buy it. They wanted more money.
really? So what? How did that end up? I'm not aware of this story.
just-
They're still there.
Are they
They're
still
not-
there?
Yeah, they're still. Well, one of them has died now, and his place sold. They're putting business down there, corner 14th Street.
That little ear, nose, and throat place right there, right? The corner of 14th and 287. There's that little ear, nose, and throat, and that's where that house was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the 2 houses they left there, and because they stubbed out Mount Zion, right? They stubbed it out into Kroger when they left the 2 houses there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep. So whatever happened to I know that at one time we were talking about, or maybe HEB had secured property across the street from Kroger. Whatever happened to that? I mean, what?
HEB still has that property.
Okay. I just saw that they decided to open up a
Mansfield
store
one.
in Mansfield right there at Broad. So do we know if they ever intend on coming back to town, or is this just a property that they decided to buy and hold on to?
Well, they decided to buy it to build a major store there, and then they overhauled the one in Waxahachie, and that put it off. And then how long, I don't know, but they still own the property.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and there's nothing we can do about it. They own the property. It's theirs. If
HEB that's HEB's MO: buy low and build later.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody wanted to come in and use that property for something, they just have to buy it off of HEB. I would
Right.
assume.
And HEB's already put improvements on it. They put the curb cuts in and stuff like that.
Well,
Or how'd that go? Oh, there's a story.
it was put in when they built the bypass.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
And,
Yeah,
and,
that was.
and that intersection, a lot of done, and there was two cuts into Main Street
Yeah.
to go. I mean, against and 8th Street, 9th Street.
9th Street,
I'll
yeah.
get it right in a minute.
It's fine.
The street in front of it, and that's still there for access off of the.
Because I think the Mansfield HEB, they went round and round because I thought they were going to start building it like 3 or 4 years ago. And then it got delayed and got delayed and got delayed. And I think that they've had the land in Mansfield for just as long as they've had the land here, maybe a couple years longer.
And they just recently decided to go ahead and update the one in Waxahachie. So
Yeah, they're expanding it.
so everyone's getting everything but Midlothian. So I'm hoping to see HEB come into town. I mean, that would
But
definitely
HEB
be
also
nice.
owns Central Market, correct?
Yes.
That's what I would like to see.
Oh, I think
mean,
we
that,
would too. But
you know,
I
I think
know I
that would
would.
be something that I feel wouldn't be counterproductive with Kroger, Brookshire's, and Walmart. You throw a Central Market in there, and to me, I mean, I can only speak for my household. That would just be now a third stop for my wife. I mean, she. I have a large household, so Costco's a must when it comes to paper towels, toilet paper, drinks, and various.
I use Lowe's. I use Sam's.
Well, yeah, so
Same thing.
you've got to buy some things in bulk when you
Yeah.
have a large household, and then she's got Walmart. But if we had Central Market, that would be a third stop.
Oh, yeah.
for
Gear specialty items.
for about every other month when we decide we're going to get healthy and
Well,
go buy a
We
bunch
eat
of stuff that we throw away the next month.
We eat a ton of produce, and there are times that you just can't find it local. And I will say that Brookshire's
Brookshire's, I buy all my produce
clutch.
there.
They have come in clutch. I don't buy all my stuff there, but I buy.
My fruit. I'm not even
I
a
buy
vegetable
that-
guy. I buy fruit at.
Well, I
at-
buy that at Costco. Fruits and vegetables, but like no, Brookshire's is coming in a pinch for like star anise.
Yeah.
Nobody's got star anise,
Well,
but I need it.
HEB has the best produce.
Yeah.
I mean, they always have been known for
Yeah.
their produce. Their produce is amazing.
Oh, they've got a policy that if you have an organic item fall into a conventional bucket, then it's now sold at conventional rate because it's no longer organic because it's touched the tainted stuff.
Sometimes
Oh,
we get
you
off
can't.
subject here, Mr. Sibley.
While you're talking about grocery stores, you realize Midlothian had 3 grocery stores when I was growing up downtown.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they
What'd
did.
you have?
Yeah.
Like David's? Wasn't there a David's here?
No, this was before. Yeah,
This is long
there was a
before then,
David's
but-
here for a long time, but this was way before that.
Okay.
There was Massey's. I can't think of the name of it, but there was 3 of them.
There was one on the
There-
north side of 67 as well, wasn't there, at one time?
North side of 67.
Yeah. On
Where?
The backside of where Lighthouse Coffee is at. That used to be, I believe that used to be a grocery
Yeah.
store a long time ago.
Over where the furniture store was a grocery store.
Okay.
But that was after I moved away.
All right.
Gotcha.
This is well before my
So
time.
moving along, I'm gonna ask a question that's probably more Tiffany's wheelhouse, but anyways, so the next bond round, what types of things would you want to see on that?
Wait, hold on. Clarify that. Do you mean the next bond that we purchase, or the next bond we take to the voters?
Did we say, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Do we sell? When do we sell bonds, or when are we going to put more bonds up for
Okay,
approval?
let me figure out how to ask this question that Tiffany should have asked in the first place.
Yeah, go ahead, Rob. Ask it.
Well, it's
Give it a shot.
okay. How do I ask it, Tiffany?
Well, are you asking when are we building the rec center, or are you asking what are we going to build besides the rec center?
Well, I'm asking.
I think he's asking
We're
about new
already,
bonds,
we're
isn't
already,
he?
yeah, new bonds. We're
Okay.
already past the rec center. That's
so
already
you
been
wanna
passed.
Ask, so you want to ask what do you envision the next
Yes.
thing we put before voters?
Exactly.
There you go.
Is that even, or is that something that's even?
We're not even talking about that now.
Okay, yeah, that
Because we want to get what's out there first. What a lot of people don't understand about, okay, we approve bonds. That means that we can go buy this stuff and get it done.
right.
But it depends on what we do. We got to be able to pay off our bonds. So we can't just go sell them because we got to pay for them.
Gotcha.
We got to get money to pay for them first.
So the last bond, but are we not? Correct me if I'm wrong. Are we not actively doing?
There's one bond. There's 2 bonds out. Still
We've got
that
City
haven't
Hall
been done.
breaking ground. We've got the
Police
Police-
station.
So there were 4 last time, and they've done 2.
the only thing that's really not moving right now is just the rec center aspect
And
of it.
roads.
Okay.
I mean, roads are always
Well,
moving.
roads are always moving.
Yeah.
Right.
That's been going for on, but this is
Yeah.
to help a lot of them. But yeah, the rec center's the other thing. That's my goal is get that done.
Okay. So you're
Then we'll look at more bonds.
So my question on that is recently there's been the big thing about the swim teams and wanting to bring the rec center up to a higher priority because so the swim teams for both Heritage and MHS have been
and I've got a son on the Heritage swim team. Just
yeah. They've been kicking butt and taking names. I mean, they might forget to take a name or two while they're kicking butt, but they've lost their place to practice because Main Street was where they were practicing. And I realize that this isn't something that's really city oriented. It's the ISD that needs to be handling it mostly. But the swim teams are very, very much in favor of the rec center being moved up in priority.
Well, again, we've sold a bunch of bonds for the city hall and a bunch of bonds for the police station. We got to start making payments
Making payments.
before we sell more bonds that we can't make payments on.
right.
And that's why it takes time. Once you approve bonds, it takes time that you got to accumulate money ready to pay.
Right. I think a lot of
No,
people don't understand how bonds
That-
work. I think
right.
you get more of that than
I didn't until I got involved with it, and
So the bond committee that I was on was told 5 to 7 years to complete the 4 bonds. And maybe the roads might lag behind because sometimes you got to get right away and stuff, right?
yeah, well, they're
That one's difficult.
they're intermittent. They're going
Yeah.
anytime we've got money, we go with roads because we got so many roads.
yeah.
They gave some astronomical figure of what we needed in roads. But if the so let's talk about the rec center a little bit more. Let's say we magically had the money for the rec center right now. Would it include pools or would it not? Or do you know?
As far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know, yeah, absolutely. I would. I'm really disappointed that Main Street Gym's pool has gone belly up, and it's just going to cost too much for them to fix it. Well, I wonder if it costs too much for the school districts to fix it.
Yeah, the school district is using it the majority of the time, or a fair amount of time.
Didn't the school district or the city commit to helping Main Street Gym fix this at one point in time? See, what I understand is that it's up for sale.
Oh, Main Street is up for sale. Yes.
You know,
I didn't know that.
And not to get, and not
It's
to,
just in the private
And I don't
listings.
want to go into why it's for sale. That's some people's private business. But and I don't know the owners. I hear he's a really good guy though. But anyways, it's being sold. So, you know, fixing the pool just wasn't really something that they cared about doing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that sounds reasonable. If I was trying to sell it, I wouldn't want to spend money to fix it either.
Yeah. But I'm with you that it's not that the city doesn't need a pool, a swimming pool. Like I need places to teach my kids how to swim, but if it's the school district that's using the pool, then maybe they need to put up some money.
Well, maybe you need to install a pool.
Maybe yeah.
Maybe you need to get a pool at your
Maybe
house.
oh my gosh, that sounds ridiculous.
I've got a pool.
Do I hear a sponsorship? Cement City Customs, Cement Pond.
We ain't got that kind of money, let me tell you.
By the way, speaking of sponsorships, on a break real quick. This episode with Mr. Wayne Sibley is being sponsored by Texas Farm Bureau, Casey McCabe, local Midlothian insurance agent.
Oh, hey, nice.
If you need help with your insurance, give Casey a call. We'll flash the number on the screen here, and
We will?
You can give him a call.
We will.
You should have told the tech producer to do that.
My producer's out tonight.
Oh well, we'll put it in the comments.
We'll probably go ahead and put it at the intro screen.
We'll put it in the comments.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but anyhow,
We will eventually get one.
Yes.
I don't know when, but we will.
Well, we're only like the bond was passed last year. We're only 1 year into 5 to 7, so we're 4 to 6 years out.
Was it passed last year or year before last?
Oh, I don't know. Everything's so blurry.
I think it was year before.
I think it was
Okay,
year
so
before
we're
last.
2 years. May will be 2 years into 5 to 7 years. So we're 3 to 5 years out. Does that sound right?
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Or at least what they predicted. Let's hope not like everything holds steady.
Well, of course, we look. If they predict this is going to cost this much, but how much is this much now? It's this much. I
Yeah.
bought a tip for my welder yesterday. That I figured it would probably cost. It'd be high. I figured about $25 maybe. Which even I got a $60 discount, and it still cost me $138.
Whoa,
Man,
that's
So-
a big change.
Yeah, it's prices have just gone crazy. I've looked at a cedar post, 8 foot, 6x6 cedar post at Home Depot. The post goes on your porch,
yeah.
$150.
What were they 2 years ago? I don't know what those were 2 years ago.
I don't know that either.
The
but
lumber's come down a little bit, but
A
let me tell
little.
you, there was a point where we were paying $85 for a 4x8 sheet of OSB sheathing.
Oh, I remember when 2x4s, 2x4s, little $2.50 premium 2x4s
Right.
were $9.88 or something stupid.
Yeah, it was.
And when I did my house, they were like 69 cents.
Yeah, much
Of course,
better.
that 45 years ago too.
So tell us some stories, Mr. Sibley. You've been on this city council for 15 years. Here we go again. You obviously have the edge and experience over the other candidates who
Your opponents.
Your opponents that are running against you.
I look at things other than just being on the council, just like I started a while ago on telling background. I bought a vending business when I was in 1957. and I ran that for 15 years and operated it myself. And I said we got married, moved to Arlington. Come Christmas, we got pregnant. So I had to go find me another job instead of going to school. And so I went to work for Transport Aircraft. I worked there for 5 years. And while I was working there, that's when I bought the vending business. And I worked with that, and I got my discharge from the Marines in 63. In 64, I went to work for the fire department in Arlington. I was the 39th man on the department.
Oh, wow.
They just opened Station 5 out in Great Southwest Industrial District on Random Mill Road. That industrial district at that time included the fire station. That's it. I mean, it was a fire station sitting out in the middle of hundreds of acres of land.
Yeah.
But that's where it was when I started working there. And I worked there for 11 years. And while I was working there, that's when we moved back to Midlothian. That's when my oldest son graduated high school. We came back. And I went to work at DFW Airport. I went to work for them before it even opened in public safety, where everybody in public safety had to be a certified firefighter and a certified police officer. So I'm a police officer as well as a firefighter. I spent 26 years there, and in that time I worked up through the rank. I became the chief in 1985. And that was the year that Delta 191 crashed.
I was about to ask if you were there for the Delta crash.
I was the instant commander on that crash. So the year that I got promoted or appointed the job, that's what it had. Also at that time, I got experience. I was also an interim director for airfield operations at DFW for about a year and a half till they could hire a full-time person for it. So I'm just kind of throwing experiences out
Right,
here.
absolutely.
When I first came to the council, the city manager said this would be an easy job. The budget's the only thing that's a problem. I said, why is it a problem? He said, because it's so much money. I said, how much is the budget? He said, about $11 million. I said, yeah, back 15 years ago, that's a lot of money. I said, well, that shouldn't be a problem. He said, why? I said, well, my budget, my part of the public safety budget at the FW Airport was $15 million, and that didn't include $5 million in maintenance head for my fire trucks. So I think I can probably work with a $11 million budget.
Right.
Well, I was coming into something that other people weren't coming into, and I had some experience with it. And I had about 120 men normally take in. We have a crash, or at that time I got about 300 men working for me. So, manage people, manage money. That's what it's about, and that's what it's about being a council. I see a council. We've got a city manager that's outstanding as far as I'm concerned with anybody, and it's his job to run the city.
Yeah. All you guys feel the same way about him. That's one thing that's unanimous that I've heard is Chris Dick is.
He's great. He's great. But my thought is, as far as the city council is concerned, my opinion is that it's the city manager's job to run the city, and it's council's job to provide the resources for the city manager to run the city. And we're getting too many people in and out on the council that, to me, like to micromanage the city themselves. They want to run it, don't want to let the city manager run it. I have a problem with that. I've spent enough time to know that this guy is the most qualified guy in the area. And to try to go do something different is kind of out of bounds.
I call that lead and get out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know that you've hired competent people, trust them, make the decisions, and delegate the authority to them to make the decisions, and get out of the damn way.
That's what I did as a fire chief. My job was, for my subordinates, here's the job. I don't tell them how to do it. That's what they're supposed to know how to do. Mm-hmm. I just tell them to do it, and then I'll move on to something else.
Yeah.
And my goal is in growing up in the fire service was I want to train everybody below me to be more qualified for the job than me. And I got satisfied in it something when I retired. One of my captains was promoted in my place. He worked there at that job about, 3 or 4 years. Then he got promoted to director of public safety. And one of my lieutenants when I was there got promoted to fire chief then. So I was seeing results from what my training was doing. That I want people trained to do my job. Too many people look at it, I don't want them in here, I don't want them working on me because they know more than I do, and that's not good. Well, I don't feel that way. I feel just the opposite. If you work for me and you know more than I do, hey, I've got a resource there that nobody else has. That's the way I feel about it. And the same thing with the council. We've got people that are sharp in one area and people that are not so sharp in that area, but we've got other people to help bring it up. We've got a pretty broad spectrum on the council right now. Going at the other end, we've got Hud Hartson. He's a police officer, so he's got the law enforcement knowledge. Well, I'm a police officer too, but
Right.
he's working right now as a police officer.
He's a Dallas police officer.
Yeah,
He knows the current thing.
yeah. And Clark is he's our real estate guy. One real estate guy we need. I don't think we need any more real estate guys.
Well, McKeever's a real estate guy, isn't he? And he's running.
He
Who?
is Alan McKeever.
Alan McKeever.
Yeah. Alan built my daughter's house.
But like
So,
you said,
yeah.
Clark's on there, and
Yeah.
you believe we've got
Do
one
it.
real estate guy?
Yeah, he has the answers we need. We don't need more for that. And we had a mayor real estate guy too, and that was, that's not the way I would see it.
Yeah.
So let's see what do we've got. So I've seen you and Walter talking to the. So there's one thing that stands out in my mind, and it was when you were talking about sprinkling the aircraft hangar for the airport, and everybody just looked at you and said, "Well, we know somebody here that knows about that."
Well, I've been in the fire service 35 years, and I know what sprinklers are good for, and I know what they can do and what they don't do if you don't have it.
Yeah.
And it's a sidebar here. I was invited by the government of Jordan to come to Amman and evaluate life safety and fire protection on their new international airport.
Oh.
So they give me credit for having enough sense to know about what to do about it.
Right.
And that's one of the most unsafe places I've ever been in my life.
I bet.
It's terrible.
What I do like about the current council right now is we've got a fair amount of people that are working what I would say regular jobs, and then we've got a fair amount of small business owners so that they understand. And we've got a fair amount of people that have been through some of the city processes themselves, so they understand what regular folk are going through, whether they be small business or they be applying for a permit. We talked about that a couple weeks ago, or what, so that their decisions that they're making right now, they understand what kind of butterfly effect they kind of have with citizens. I kind of like that right now.
I don't understand what you're saying.
What I'm saying is we've got a diversity of people up there that not everybody owns their own business, but we have some people that do.
Yeah.
Not everybody works for somebody else, but we have somebody that do, and we have some people that do. And so that we've got a good mix of people that have been through either
Workers and bosses.
workers and bosses that kind of understand management, or they understand how it feels to go through a process with the city as a resident.
Yeah.
Well, are you in fact the longest sitting city councilman?
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah.
As of right now, right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody else has been
Well, right now, I don't know.
5 terms.
Oh, I don't know. There's been.
Well, Walter. Let's start with.
Walter's not. Oh, you mean sitting right
well,
now?
Yeah, let's start with sitting now.
No,
Mr.
yeah,
Sibley,
right now,
Walter,
yes.
No.
Right now, yes, 100%.
Right. So you've seen The last 15 years of city council guys come and go. And where do you think we rank right now? I mean, as far as
Out of the 15 years of council,
yeah, I mean, do we have a very proactive council, and is it productive? I mean, have we ever? Is it?
I have a feeling right now there's too much politics on the council.
It's
Yeah.
supposed to be
And by
nonpartisan.
top politics, I mean, hey, I help support you, so you need to look for my business when y'all come in. You need to vote for me,
Yeah,
I understand that. I
and
get
that's not acceptable in my books.
yeah.
Yeah. So I asked you what your most memorable vote was. What's something you would change in 15 years? You got 15 years. Something that everybody's got one vote that they would have changed.
One vote that I would have changed. I can't think of one.
Okay.
I'm pleased. When I walk away from there every council meeting, I'm satisfied that I have voted for what I think is right,
Right.
and what the people want. And it may not please everybody. Or in many cases, it doesn't. But I feel good because I've done what I feel is right,
With the information presented to you.
and that's the way I vote. If I vote no, well, I think what's being presented is not proper.
Well, you hit the nail on the head earlier. Growth is inevitable. It's going to
Yeah.
happen, and I got to say that I have to agree with quality over quantity. I mean,
The only problem with that is the state legislature don't feel that way. They passed laws that like the houses that's being built right now, this is what we required you to do to build it. And it's quality.
yeah,
The legislature says you can't do that. There's a minimum standard over here, national standard. That's what you can go by. You can't make it any better than minimum.
really.
And that just gets in my craw. That I can't help.
Like these
that I
four.
can't have.
Well, how many houses in that subdivision behind you, John?
God, is it 2,400? Yeah, 2,400.
Yeah,
And to me, the traffic that's going to be generated by all those houses is it really worth? I don't know. It's just the way they filter out from Walnut Grove Road onto the highway at 287. DOT spent all that money on the overpass, yet to put another entrance from a major thoroughfare right onto the highway, and it's not going to be controlled. I mean, it does look like they're going to filter it along a little access road, but so far I've already seen so many people avoid that and go straight across the highway so they can go to Waxahachie rather than going down to the loop-de-loop underneath the overpass and then get back on the highway. It just, I don't know. It's going to be so many fatalities, and I can't see how that got approved.
I wish we could do something about that, and we're trying. But it's TxDOT in charge,
Yeah.
and with 1387 and 287 and 67 all, that's TxDOT responsibility, and
in your hand, you have no.
we
But
have
TxDOT
no control. All we can go is go to TxDOT and say please.
Oh, yeah, but TxDOT actually they're the ones that were in charge of letting that neighborhood go out right there next to Walmart. I'm not Walmart, but Whataburger. I mean, there's a major entrance that goes between Whataburger and the other business.
It was in his
In
business forms.
in his business, yeah.
This isn't Redden Farms. This is I know what one you're talking about because I've managed my way back there by accident one time.
But that's going to be.
But I think that's another common misconception of the job of a city council.
But who controls
representative.
who controls the who controls the flow of traffic? I mean, from a neighborhood onto a major thoroughfare. I don't think that's a DOT road. That seems to be more of a city-owned road or something.
On 287,
Well, no, it'd be the road coming from the neighborhood that comes in. Okay, you know where the Whataburger is on 287 and
The
in
good
its
Whataburger.
business forms. That's a back or a front entrance into that new neighborhood. So at some point, it stops. Is that what you're saying? It stops being DOT's
Yeah, I mean, who's the one that approved
That street is ours.
Okay.
Okay,
Or will be ours.
Gotcha.
but I don't understand why they thought to feed it through there, being that we just put an overpass on 287 in Walnut Grove because of the amount of fatalities we had at that light and the amount of backup we have, only to create another congestion.
Well, hold on. Can city council can they reject a subdivision, that's the
Yeah.
word I'm thinking of, where a subdivision has an exit? Can they control that when it comes before them?
Yes, we could. But in a case like that, TxDOT has more control there. Anything coming onto their
Right.
highway, that's their responsibility.
And I'm not sure that was actually city council that had anything to do with that. That might be more planning and zoning.
Well,
But-
everything comes before planning and zoning, and they can reject or approve, and then it goes before council.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they thought that was a good idea. I really need to have someone on that can answer those questions.
Well,
We'd have to get TxDOT involved on that, but
that whole area, that Bridgewater development, has gone back for many years.
Yes.
When it was Ecom, and there was Ecom sued the city for an ordinance that was written, that was one of the first things when I got on the council was to abolish that ordinance. And the ordinance was, you don't buy a sewer, or you don't buy water from us, you don't get sewer. At that time, they had applied to the state to get permission to dig a well. They were going to provide their own water. And we opposed that, but they applied for it anyway. And our city engineer at the time, which was not Mike Adams, got an ordinance passed that no water, no sewer.
So they were going to get their own water from the ground, but then they would have nowhere to put it because you
Right.
don't allow septic.
And we'd run a sewer all the way across them.
no. Yeah.
So it was there, but within you couldn't have it. You know, that was a very foolish decision as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
But that was before my time.
Yeah.
So I tried to get it changed, so I got on the council. Well, Ecom sued the city over it. That was in the courts for years. And they came out rulings from that. Some of the rulings from that was how many houses they could put in there, and a whole lot of stuff anyway that we don't have any control over. That the court said this is what
Yeah.
you can do. So, as far as that road is concerned, though, I don't know. But they said they made the plan out that was on it.
Now I do know that some people that were on council at some point had a mission or a theory or a plan to put pressure on TxDOT to do the right thing by allowing some of these things on. Do you think that was part of that?
No.
No.
And we went to TxDOT. We had a workshop last week, I guess it was, with TxDOT about they're wanting to close all of the U-turns, basically between Sardis and the bridge on
Yeah.
287.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea.
Wait.
I
Which
think.
bridge? Walnut Creek
From-
or Walnut Bridge?
Headed
There's 3 exits,
Right.
or 3 U-turns.
3 U-turns.
And we're talking about through what the Midlothian police and the fire department call the meat grinder.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking between 14th and Walnut Grove.
Well,
No, I'm talking about Walnut Grove to Sardis.
Back to
Yes.
Sardis.
Oh, the other way. Okay.
but actually,
further.
it needs to be further down for that industrial center too. And in my opinion, it needs to be right.
Like Eastgate.
In,
and on.
yeah,
Oh no, he
that
said
should be,
Sardis. We're even further back.
Yeah, but I think they should actually do it right there at Eastgate because of all the cement trucks that are going across the highway.
But they stood in front of council and said they didn't do that. They don't do that.
They do it every single day.
I know they do.
But it needs to be a right turn out, go down to the exit, and make a
And
U-turn back.
do a
It's
Texas
what they call it.
turnaround, yeah.
Well, or Michigan left is what they call, or Michigan
Yeah.
right is what
Yeah,
they call it. Yeah.
exactly.
Well, just think about it. If all of those are closed, where do you go?
You're gonna go to Walnut
You're going to
Grove.
go to Waxahachie
Yeah.
or Midlothian to make a U-turn.
Well, yeah.
The church down there on Creek Creekside Church. People come out of there on Sunday. They don't go to Midlothian. If they want to go to Waxahachie, they got to go to Midlothian first to get to Waxahachie.
Well, the nice thing is we have that really nice overpass with the dedicated U-turn lane. I mean, it's really not that far. It's just, do they want to make the effort to do it?
And I think I gave you the answer to that. No, they don't.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand.
But
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
disagree with that.
As somebody who wants to go to that airport or turn around at that airport, I definitely do not like. I would have to keep going to Waxahachie so I could get back home. That suck.
Well, what we met with them and we suggested that they don't close them, but that they make egress lanes and turn lanes to offset all of that, just like they've done north of town on 287, not there by Grand Prairie.
Right. Yes.
Do the same thing on the south side, as they
Which
did
I've
on
already
the north.
noticed that it's made a big difference.
It has.
Yeah.
Yes, it has.
And that's what we're asking them to do. And I think that'll make a big difference. I think it will satisfy a lot of people. There's no some it will never satisfy anyway.
Right. No, you absolutely not. So as we're winding down here, Mr. Sibley, is there anything that you want to tell us as you embark on your sixth
Well,
campaign?
one thing I want to say, I want to thank all the people in Midlothian for their support. Because without them, naturally, I wouldn't be here. And I hope that they will come out and vote and put me back again. Let me try one more time.
Absolutely.
After one more time, I think I'm going to hang it up.
Are you really?
Yeah.
How old will you be? I'm sorry. I should not be asking that question. That is rude of me.
Well,
but you know what?
I've had a lot of people tell me that I need to step down because I'm too old and I have health issues. Well, maybe I'm too old. I'm 85. I'll be 88 after another term.
Okay.
I think I'm more healthy right now than I've been in the last 50 years. I've had several surgeries, one of them being a quintuple bypass surgery.
Oh, wow.
That I didn't even know I had a problem. Till the doctor started giving me a shot, and I had to be put out for that. And he looked at the monitor. He said, "I wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole."
Oh my goodness.
I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because your heart's not beating right." I mean, I feel fine. Well, a few weeks later, kids got after me. So
I was going to ask you that. We've got your daughter sitting here in the studio. How does your family feel about? I mean, obviously they support you. I mean, I wouldn't think they would
they
do
say it's a
anything.
stupid thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too ornery to listen.
Yeah, I'm too honored to listen. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen her madder than a wet hen. Is it just running late or did he forget to call?
But it's, I think I'm healthier than I've ever been. Well, I say I've ever been. I'm lighter now than I've been since I graduated from high school.
Well, that's good.
Okay.
I hadn't been under 200 pounds for over 50 years until I had my surgeries.
Yeah.
And I've lost the weight and I've kept it off.
Well, that's
kept it
good.
off for 2 years now. I've been under 200 pounds for over 2 years.
Congratulations.
That's a big.
So I'm
big
happy with
accomplishment.
that. So as far as being unhealthy to do this, that's ridiculous. I've got a hip problem. That's true. As far as being too old, that's just up to you.
right.
I mow my place once a week.
Rider or
during the summer.
pusher?
Huh?
A rider mower or pusher?
Oh, have you ever seen his yard?
No.
Of course, I got
Hey, here-
18 acres. And I'm doing
You ain't pushing anything on 18 acres.
That doesn't mean
no,
the
sir.
whole thing.
Wayne, I just got this commercial Z-turns. You ever need help? You let me know. I love riding on it. It's one of those big bad boys, and boy, I tell you what, it's fun. It's
got a
so
cup
if you ever
holder?
need some help, I will come help you.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I got me one of those bat wings now.
Oh yeah, yes, that's a
Oh.
big one.
Oh yeah,
Whoa.
that's
Yeah.
huge. But as we wrap it up, I just want to thank you for coming on this show, Mr. Sibley. I was so happy when you called me that night and accepted our invitation. I've never really officially met you before. I've been to a few of the city council meetings, and I've gotten out of there before we've met. And now I can officially say I have every city council man or woman's number in my cell phone. You were the only one I lacked, and when you called me, I
You got
plugged
it
it
now.
in.
Ooh, I don't have all that. Ooh.
So
Well,
anyhow,
I'm glad
Big
you called me,
rolling.
and I appreciate it.
I really
And,
do, and I appreciate all the knowledge and just the passion that you have for our city. So, you know, win, lose or draw, you guys can go out and you can vote. Wayne Sibley, place 1. When's the election, Tiffany?
Oh, it is May. I don't know what day. I always look it up later.
It's in May. You know, you follow our show. We'll get you prepared when early voting starts. But
you got a ways. You got a ways to go. Make sure you're registered to vote in April. Like, do it by April 1st. Just do it by April 1st because you have to be registered 30 days in advance.
and go vote. Don't say, oh, you're going to win anyway.
No.
I heard that before. That's when I
Yeah.
lost.
By 5 votes.
Yeah, we do have a problem in this town with people showing up and voting. So
Yeah.
it's definitely do
Not
your part.
showing up
Get
and
out there. And you can't bitch if you don't vote. So
Yeah. Those
get
are
out there
you
and
get
do
a
your
lot
deal.
of people that complain about the way things work out, but they don't go to the box to. You
Yeah,
see
they
it all
say
the
it
time.
doesn't make any difference.
You know, our town social media page of 32,000 people, if you've got an issue, you've got 14,000 people complaining about it. But guess what? Only 3,500 people
Yeah,
voted
32,000 people
that
and only
person
1,000
in.
people vote.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
Those who show up get get stuff done.
anyways, well, I appreciate you coming on the show, Mr. Sibley.
Thanks.
It's been an honor,
I appreciate
and
it.
we'll see you soon.
Okay.
Yes, we look
Thanks.
forward to another episode for sure. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you.